Hello guys, Azuchio here. So I was experimenting around with Mew over the weekend. Thought I'd show her what she can do, why she's being played, why you might want to possibly build her, and then show you a game that I had with her where she shined right after this explanation. So to begin with her talent, all her allies enjoy a bonus to attack and int, so this is like Lanford's talent, where all your units get up to 15% increased attack, as long as they are on either forests or grasslands. And you really want these two tiles to be on the terrain that you fight on, just so this can matter. After taking action, you heal for a bit, and if enemies end their turn on one of these terrain, they have a pretty good chance of just getting a random debuff. Now, this is not like a strong debuff, it's just one of those weak ones that usually reduce just a random main stat. So that's her talent. She's like sort of like a faction buff that you don't really have to cast as long as there's enough grasslands. Since this does stack with faction buffs, you can bring both, and you can have some extremely strong units as a result. So about the skills, we have the Forest Teleport. I think this is pretty much the reason that you play Mew. You can teleport any ally onto any forest or grassland terrain on the map. As long as they're on the map, you can teleport them over there. Even if they're like across the map, there's some grasslands over there, you can do that. So this is an amazing skill. Probably always want to take this as long as you're fielding Mew. This passive, the 1-cost skill, Revitalizing Blessing, this is a must take, I think. If this unit is on either forest or grasslands, you take reduced damage. When using any skill, their range is increased by 1. And when ending the turn, you restore health to nearby allies within 2 blocks, so this is like a regrowth effect. Now, if you're not standing on grasslands or the forest terrain, this passive does absolutely nothing. So right now, we're at a range of 3. So this 3C effect, for example, have a base range of 2. With the Scepter of Divinity, +1 range, we have a range of 3 if we're not on defensive terrain. So not on any sort of terrain, this doesn't do anything. The Forest Teleport have a base range of 3. If you're not on it, it still has a range of 3, but it goes up to 4 if you are on one of these terrain effects. The 3C is also a must-take. It deals heavy damage, and before battle, inflicts the enemy with damage taken increased, and if they die within the 2 turns, then you summon a Ancient Treant, which is a very strong physical tank. This also applies a neat effect of giving both you and the enemy that you hit a aura that puts everyone into grasslands. So this is how you can sort of play around with her talent if there are no grasslands on the map. So right now, everything here, everything within 1 ring here, is treated as grasslands. Now this does apply to enemies as well. So this Leon normally cannot walk across the water tiles, can now actually just run across the water. Same with this Vargas, base movement of 3, normally can't get over there, right? But he can actually just move right through because this unit is giving this entire ring, treating this as grasslands. This Leon here is treating everything here as grasslands. So this does have beneficial effects and downsides. Since this is treated as a buff, you can't really get rid of this. You might be able to dispel this, but I'm not certain on that. So what this does trigger is if your opponent, if they have unicorns, they're going to get that bonus. If they have a juggler and they decide to jump into this aura, they will actually do no damage with their Master of Ice. And they can't even get into water or apply water debuffs because everything here is treated as grasslands. So let's just show you. If you end the turn here, normally doesn't do anything, but there should be a end turn heal because of Mew's talent. So you can shoot people, create the treant, and the treant here has a very good skill here. Passively takes physical attacks aimed at adjacent allies. So this is just all adjacent allies. And then when you're on forest or grassland terrain, the guard range increases to 2. And it gains 1-time revive for 20% and regenerate after action. And you can activate the skill so that you can treat this terrain that this unit is standing on as forests. So you can on demand make this into forests and then guard allies if there are no forest or grassland terrain nearby. So normally there's nothing here. You can stand here and then guard because there's the grassland aura. Or you can just do this. And this turns into a 2-range physical guard. Standing on forests, taking all physical attacks for allies. This can even be dispelled as long as this unit is standing on the one of these 2 terrains. So that's a very neat interaction as well. You can have permanent 2-range guard as long as this unit is standing on grassland. You don't even need to use any of these effects, which is very nice. And there's one other thing you should know about Mew's teleport. If there are no grassland or forest terrain on the map, actually don't bring this skill because it will do absolutely nothing. Like on this map, normally you would expect to be able to teleport onto one of these grassland tiles provided by her 3C aura, but it doesn't actually work like that. And you can only teleport in place, which is a pretty big waste. So not all that exciting there, but creating the grassland effect for your allies is pretty neat. You can make use of her talent even if there's very little grassland and terrain. You just have to be careful about the enemies that she shoots her 3C with, since you do give them a 2-turn grassland aura that they can then use by themselves. If they have a lot of unicorns or like a lustrial and they want to stand on grassland to snipe you, that's gonna be bad if you do let them play around with that. But if they are playing like juggler, you can shoot them and make the juggler useless if you don't already kill them. Alright, so let's take a look at an actual match then. So I had this match against Gaybolg. Skip the preparation here. So I had Mew on this map. There is a decent number of terrain on this map. It's not terribly bad, but you know, in the middle there's a lot of non-grassland tiles that my opponent can attack from. And on these terrain, if you have to face Mew, that's where you want to stand. Well, the Mew player wants to stand on the grass themselves just so they can enjoy that increased attack and int. Alright, so what's happening here? My opponent playing Kyra here with Florentia. Figure they're probably going to rush this Florentia anyways at some point, so I'll just let them do that. My position here is put the Lucretia forward, the Arcane Golem just behind, just outside of the Kyra max snipe range. If they want to go for the Lucretia, we'll let that happen. If they want to go for one of the other units, we're fine with that as well. Since I also have Florentia here, I can act again and take the trade if it comes down to it. And my opponent decides to go for the Kruger, which is an easy kill even through not being able to crit. Kruger really doesn't stand a chance against the Faithless Assassins. Now, if this was using Sorceress or anything else, then Kruger might have had a chance of surviving. We just act again here. This forces my opponent to kind of engage prematurely. But with the Angels on the Helena, Helen doesn't really have to worry about getting counter-killed here unless I do tons of damage. But I go for the Kyra here. Since this is an Assassin Kyra, she does live with Last Rites, and it's not like I'm using Twilight Star. I can follow up here with 3C from Mew. When the opponent dies, I create this Treant. And as you saw here, I attack from a range of 4, since she is standing on grasslands here. So I get the Treant, and now this is my secondary tank. I don't even have to use the active skill, since there is a forest here already. Move back, this is already guarding all physical attacks within 2 blocks. The Juggler jumps in here. Does pretty good damage since the aura only affects the one ring around here. So if this Juggler jumped like here, for example, the Juggler would have lost the aura, lost the water here, and have done pretty much nothing. So while this does lock down the Ancient Treant with the Beast Rock, this cube here, the Arcane Golem, is not being guarded right now. And I don't really want to move this Hilda here, since I can't. And I don't really want to move this Lucretia either, since she is at pretty low health. And this Hilda does not have guard up here, 2-range guard up anyway, so there's no way to save the Golem in case the Helena wants to just take out the Golem. What I do here is do the teleport and bring the Ancient Treant here to protect both Mew and the Arcane Golem. So now my Hilda is, not really acting like a tank anymore. Now I have the true tank from the Treant. So my opponent tries to do the, act again the Bernhardt, go in with the big AoE. But my Lucretia is already in range to attack. So we're just gonna shoot it. Holy versus the Demon. And that's just a very easy kill there. Now Hilda did put up the 2-range guard, means I can just position here around the Hilda. Not even care about this Juggler because the Juggler does not have Beast Rock. It took Magic Guard instead. Didn't actually really guard anything magical this game. As for a normal attack on the Sorceress, just remove some Sorceress. And we just heal back up. Mew still being guarded. So it's looking like it's pretty good so far. And then this Florentia does a 3C, gets this Unique debuff. Soldier mobility reduced by 2. Normally you don't really have to worry about mobility decrease effects on Hilda just because of her passive. Yeah, this effect that makes her immune to effects that reduce mobility. Apparently it does not cover Soldier's mobility. So Hilda cannot actually guard here. So this is again Mew's time to shine with the Treant. Show the Florentia. And here I really want to save the Lucretia here, so we just, instead of using Hilda as a tank, we use the Ancient Treant instead. Well, this does leave the Arcane Golem and Florentia unguarded for the moment. But my opponent decides to not go for them anyways. The game is already won at this point, but my opponent is really sticking it out. So since I already moved my healer, and this last 2 turns, there's no way to make the Hilda guard. So now my main tank is actually the Treant, using the 2-range guard for allies here. And I can just start attacking with Hilda like a DPS sort of. Psychic Corruption on Lucretia is a very good counter to Juggler. You can immediately apply heal block to all his allies and himself, so they don't heal for anything. Alright, that's good enough. So hope that was interesting for you guys. I will see you guys next time.